Hi, I'm Robert Everest. I'm the creator and director of Santo 7.13.15. I'm an independent filmmaker, and a few years ago, I came here from New York and hit the ground running. Within a short time, I had just finished my second feature, and something terrible happened. I got a phone call from my mother that she was diagnosed with cancer. Soon after learning that she had this inevitably destructive disease, I set out on a course to find out what could possibly be the reason. And that's when I discovered Monsanto. Monsanto is a company that started 100 years ago in the chemical business. Soon after that, by the 1960s, they created one of the most devastating chemicals known to mankind called Agent Orange for the Vietnam War. This is the same company that brought to us artificial sweeteners such as cancer-causing saccharin, aspartame, and Roundup. Eventually, they moved into a whole new category called Mother Nature. They began to genetically modify species that were living on our planet, but they didn't stop there. They not only decided to tamper with and malign Mother Nature, but they took it to the patent office and they said, "We created that, therefore we own it." And the patent office agreed. I decided then I wanted other people to know about Monsanto too. I'm a filmmaker, so I thought what better way for me to communicate what it is that I wanted you to know was than through film. And some people said, well, why don't you make a documentary? And my answer was clear. I could stand on the corner on a soapbox and I could preach the word, or I can give us something that will actually appeal to the masses. The truth is, the anomalies like Food Inc. and Super Size Me, they got seen by millions of people, but it didn't invoke the kind of emotion that a movie like Philadelphia did for the world of AIDS. A documentary to me meant that it was an isolated group of people that loved those films. That's not the world. But the world is willing to sit through an action or a sci-fi or a drama film that's in a narrative sense. We could have shot this film and it would have been in the can already and most likely been playing in theaters. We had an opportunity at a major studio that greenlit this project. They saw the story and they loved it. The story sells itself. But part of the problem was they wanted two elements that I insisted upon keeping in out. They wanted us to take out the message of GMO and Monsanto. That was a compromise that I just wasn't willing to make. As a filmmaker, when a studio offers you a deal, you take it, especially if it means your career is on the line. But this was much more than my career. If this was a movie just for me, about me, then I would have made a science fiction feature. But this movie was about us and about the implications of genetically modified organisms in our future, in our lives. And that in itself was more important than any dollar amount or any studio deal could have meant to me. So the studio wanted to buy the story, and they wanted us to make it, and they wanted us to take out GMO and Santo. And the reason why they were willing to go forward if we took out those elements is because the story sold itself. The film is about Maxwell Cooper, a man caught in a dystopian future where the world was in a very, very volatile place. Autoimmune disorders and sterility were at an all-time high. Santo Corporation steps in with the answer. We can help you with those diseases if you give us a chance to take our genetic modification programs to a whole new level. Let's genetically modify humans. But what they didn't tell us was that they were going to own us as intellectual property as a result. Because of the policy of genetic modification and ownership of those patents and intellectual property, Santo has the right to recall any and all species that they deem fallible. In order for us to have a child, Max persuades his wife to go under the genetic modification program. But what he didn't realize was that also meant that Santo would own the genetic sequence and DNA of the very thing that he was trying to create. His child was born with a disability. Santo Corporation had a right to recall her and take her to a deconstruction camp. After losing his daughter, his wife soon left, and Max is left with only one thing to do, and that's to try to fight back at the very powers that caused this problem to begin with and give humanity back its freedom. He does this through another child that faces the inevitable deconstruction camp that Santo has so gracefully set up for those that they recall. Max is me. We are one and the same. We have the same goal, to make everyone aware. And I'll tell you this movie is a movie for us, by us. It's your movie. It's not just mine. Because if it was my movie, I could have made this already. We were in a studio system deal. I promise you one thing. If you give us the faith and you give us the support that we need, I will deliver an unbelievable science fiction piece that will be remembered in history, that will help to change policy, and that will be one incredible film that will entertain, enlighten, and incite for generations to come. That's my promise to you.